ESPN 93.5. Again, I am Stevie J. Good to have you listening this morning. Immigration agents look for a fourth grader in New York. Don't quite understand this story. Not sure why we're going after a fourth grader in New York, but the agent got turned away. So we're going to get a little more detail on this one in just a moment. 2 federal immigration agents entered a Queens elementary school in New York City last week looking for a fourth grader. They were turned down immediately for not having a warrant, says a city spokesman. PS 58 in Mass Path, Queens, followed the city's latest policy to block federal agents from entering property without warrants. Happy to welcome back to our show immigration attorney and an adjunct professor of law at SMU, Eric Cedillo. How are you, my friend?
I'm here.
Immigration attorney, adjunct professor of law, SMU. I'm probably mostly, I don't know what I am. I guess people would think I'm conservative, but I'm some libertarian in there. I'm serious tech independent. I don't like Washington either side.
Right.
I want term limits. I'm just a jumbled mess. So for immigration, I say get all the criminal element out. I don't go to Queens, New York looking for a fourth grader. I don't quite understand the story, Eric.
Yeah, quite honestly, I think some people may have blown it a bit out of proportion. I don't think, from the reports that we're receiving, that they were actually there to pick up the fourth graders so much as what USCIS is saying, that they went over there to acquire some school records. They do have some sensitive location policies. ICE is the enforcement mechanism of immigration. USCIS is the administrative component. So if those were truly USCIS agents and they were there to pick up records, school records, then that's probably what happened, and they weren't there to actually interview the student or pick the child up.
Why is it not possible to come up with a coherent immigration policy in America?
It's a very good question. I think we need it. We need it in terms of comprehensive immigration reform. I think there are a number of issues, of course. Everyone's at odds. Here in Texas, the business community is certainly behind some sort of comprehensive immigration reform and something because of the symbiotic relationship we have with Mexico. It's a driver of our economy here. There's been a movement towards demonizing immigrants in this country, and it started a while back, and it continues.
And again, I think there's a big difference between saying immigrant and illegal immigrant. We're all at some point immigrants, are we not? I mean, we all.
That's very true.
I'm just saying that I don't think it should be looked on as racist or bigoted or anything to say I need to know who's coming into my country. And if you were against that, then you ought to take the front door off of your house and just leave it open.
There is no doubt. Even staunch liberals who believe in affording rights to the undocumented. There is no doubt that I believe everyone here in this country believes that we should have true border protections. I think the difference with respect to immigration reform would be in the individuals who have been here for years and years contributing to our society and sustaining our economies. There should be a situation wherein we perhaps make them, provide them an opportunity to have a lawful presence here in the United States. Maintaining this unlawful presence, it certainly helps depress wages and other things, but it continues to be a situation wherein it's untenable. We need to fix it, and we need to do it with respect to the federal government. It needs to be uniform across the board.
Immigration attorney, adjunct professor of law, SMU down in Dallas, Eric Cedillo. Okay, so here's the Stevie J immigration deal. First of all, you have to stop the boat from leaking. That makes total sense to me. Stop the boat from leaking. Secondly, I'm getting all the bad guys out. The bad guys can go. Thirdly, the people that are here, as you mentioned, working hard for 2 or 3 decades, having generations here, they have a path like Reagan offered in the 80s, and we follow some similar blueprint. Why is that so controversial, and why is it so difficult?
Well, I think, unfortunately, for me, in my perspective, I believe the political rhetoric, with some, not all, of course, Republicans on the right, they've utilized it to gain political favor to the very far right that would not categorize individuals. If you're undocumented, that's it. You need to go. For those individuals, it's difficult to kind of get across to them that there's a lot of folks that you actually know who are here undocumented. You've probably known them for years. They speak perfect English. They know no other country. But until you can have that true sense of who these folks are, it's always going to be a them versus us type situation.
Yeah.
We need to get past that.
Well, and then on the left, it's just completely bonkers that everybody comes no matter what, and you're just discriminating, and we're going to protect you no matter what. That's crazy, too.
Yeah, and in all honesty, you know, I consider myself, you know, certainly left of center. I certainly don't believe that. I believe that we should be deporting those individuals who are committing crimes, certainly serious crimes, individuals who, you know, aren't respective of the actual criminal laws that we have in place. And I think there are a whole lot of people who feel, you know, that same way, especially here in the state of Texas. You have a lot of folks who are Hispanic or Latino who feel that same way.
Yeah.
So it's not just a, you know, a very specified issue that you can kind of
Eric, I'm pretty convinced you and I could fix it. It might take an hour. You and I could come up with a policy that would actually make sense and probably work. It is beyond me that we've let this go for 4 decades, and it continues to mount and build and cause pressure, but again, it's a head shaker for me.
Yeah, Stevie, it's working for someone, and that's probably the problem.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Eric, nice meeting you. I hope we can chat again sometime. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. From SMU, Southern Methodist University down in Dallas. That's Eric Cedillo, immigration attorney. That's just one of those subjects that I'm probably, people go, he said what? He believes what? Folks, you're not going to deport 12 million, 13 million, 11 million. Nobody even knows. So stop talking about deporting everybody. That's silly. And you shouldn't at this point. Mm-hmm. You can just mark this up to a failure of Washington and policymakers. So now you have to have a path. All the bad guys have to go, period. You have to stop the boat from leaking. I look at it as a boat. If it's leaking, you first stop the leak, and then you bail the water out. I'm not saying bail the people out, but you get the bad ones out. Mm-hmm. And then you allow everybody a path, a citizenship path to citizenship. Let them come out of the shadows. Be fully part of this system. That's great. And then those that choose not to come out of the shadows, and for whatever reason, because they can get stuff for free, then they got to go too. But I'd give them a chance. And this would take years and years and years to implement. And at least we'd have a policy. You don't even go into a good business without some policy book.
That's right.
Every company has some sort of rule. Where's our immigration rule?
I don't know.
And how do you not want some sort of system as to who's coming in? When we say you're against immigrants, no. I just want to know your name.
Well, and all the other countries are doing something.
Well, they're doing a lot more than we are. We ought to have